Thank you all very much for coming. My name is Jennifer Lehman, and I'm the marketing consultant here for the Pembroke Area Airport. I'm going to sort of give you a little idea of what's going to happen here this morning. We're going to have some remarks and the big announcement from Alan Wren, the chair of the Pembroke Area Airport Commission. He's also going to introduce the members of the commission, and those who are here today, we'd ask you just to let everyone know who you are. We'll also have some remarks from Warden Bob Sweet and Mayor Ed Jacquinot, who is right here, okay? And then we'll bring Alan back up for some additional questions. So for those of you with the media, if you have questions and a personal interview that you would like to do, we have a boardroom down the hall, and after the general questions are done, we'll ask you to go down there with Alan, and then the rest of you are welcome to mingle and eat all of the food and drinks that we have here today. So without further ado, I will introduce Alan Wren, chair of the Pembroke Area Airport Commission.
Thanks very much, Jennifer. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Alan Wren. I'm the chair of the Pembroke Area Airport Commission, and I have some members of the commission here, but I'd like to introduce everybody's name that's on the commission. So we have Dick Rabishaw from Laurentian Hills, Ruth Syme from Deep River, Isaac McBride is here, who's the deputy mayor representing Jim LeBeau from Whitewater Region, Frank Sorella, town of Petawawa, Teresa Sabrin, also from the town of Petawawa, Gary Severin from the city of Pembroke, Ted Mahood from the city of Pembroke, and Sean Moyles, who is our representative from CFB Petawawa. So back in the fall of 2011, many of you completed a survey for us on whether you would use scheduled passenger service for your organization. Those results were passed on to aviation consultants Leigh Fisher, who used them to develop a feasibility study to see if scheduled service would be supported in this area. Today, we're pleased to announce the results of their analysis. Leigh Fisher has recommended that the Airport Commission actively pursue the goal of scheduled passenger air service to Toronto. That's great news for us. On behalf of the Commission, we thank you and everyone who participated in making this happen. Some of you may know that scheduled service operated out of the airport for 33 years. While it has not operated here for the past 10 years, the Commission was quite sure it could again be successful. The feasibility study has supported that view, suggesting 1 to 2 trips to Toronto daily. The feasibility study also noted that 6,267 trips were made annually where scheduled service leaving the Pembroke Area Airport could be used. One organization that has made the pursuit of this opportunity possible is the Renfrew County Community Futures Development Corporation. Supported by the Government of Canada through the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, FedDev Ontario, Eastern Ontario Development Program. On behalf of the Renfrew County, we thank the people involved in this organization for their support and the belief in the scheduled service project at the airport. As we start to tell our story around the county, I hope the region, its residents, and businesses can feel proud of this facility. Less than a decade ago, 378 airports in Canada, just like this one, decertified, meaning they would never seize the opportunity for scheduled passenger service. We're not one of them. It is a diligent and expensive process to be a certified airport with 5,000 feet of runway. The fact that we are constantly able to manage that and now pursue an opportunity for growth is a credit to the 6 municipalities who own this facility and the employees they have put in place to maintain it. The airport is an excellent example of municipalities working together to provide an incredible benefit to this region. Because of this facility, we're open for business to the world. With scheduled service, we will continue to grow. One of our future plans is to resurface the current runway. With an estimated cost of approximately $5 million, today we have made a huge step towards succeeding in that project. Airports can apply for funding through the federal government's program called Airport Capital Assistance, or ACAP for short. You can only apply if you have sustained scheduled service of 1,000 seats per year for 3 consecutive years. If you have no scheduled service, you have no access to that funding. So again, on behalf of the Commission, members, thank you for being our runway to an exciting future. Our next announcement will be to introduce the airline that will serve this region in scheduled service. Thank you.
So I'd like to bring up Warden Bob Sweet for some remarks on the announcement.
Well, thank you very much, Chair Allen, and to your commission members, your worships. We've got quite a representation here today. Mayor Jacquinot, Mayor Rabishaw, and of course the senior politician in Renfrew County, Mayor Jack Wilson, and Isaac McBride from Whitewater. Great to be with you on today's announcement, moving forward with scheduled air service. As an individual who for years traveled every Friday to Toronto, let me tell you, the need for that flight connection onto the island airport is absolutely essential. I traveled by train, I traveled by car, I traveled by rail down there, and I don't care how you do it. Even by bus, it's 5 hours one way. So it's a 10-hour trip to go to Toronto, where it's an hour when you get on the plane from the island airport, and you're down here in Pembroke, ready to go out for supper at 7:30 at night or whatever it might be. So it's absolutely essential. Given the fact also that a recent announcement, as I understand it, the rail is going to be removed in this particular area. With the removal of that particular line of transportation, the lack of 4-laning of 17, which is gradual, but I don't know we'll see it in our lifetime up here. I think it's essential that we have modern first-class transportation links to the major centres, and to start with the one into Toronto is key and crucial for economic development here in the Upper Ottawa Valley, connecting us to the major markets from Toronto. Then you go wherever from there is just absolutely key and essential. So good job, excellent work on behalf of all of the citizens and residents of the Upper Ottawa Valley. Congratulations. I look forward to the announcement. I don't know where that carrier is going to come from, but I'm sure with your hard work and dedication, you're going to see one here sooner than later. So, Alan, to you and your team, great job of moving an essential service forward. We're certainly coming into the 21st century, and I've said this before. We've just recently, and we're going to see high-speed connectivity coming in. I know North Renfrew is here with us, and they're working hard to give us those connecting links. This is another connection link to the rest of the world. So look forward to your announcement, as I say, sooner than later. So congratulations to you on a very special day. Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to invite Pembroke Mayor Ed Jacquinot to make some remarks as well.
Thank you, Jennifer. I guess the warden has made all the greetings to all these special guests. I welcome you as well. I can't tell you how important it is to have an airport in a community and within a region such as Renfrew County. I had the pleasure to sit on the board myself a number of years ago, and I know I'd like to recognize the chairman, who's been well trained by Jack Wilson, obviously, to take on the leadership role. He's done a wonderful job. And the partnerships that have developed because of the Airport Commission truly have focused on our region to draw development and to bring people that are high rollers into our community. As the warden had had said so eloquently, time is money. If you're on a plane, you can be back here in an hour or two. You can be having supper with your spouse. You can be doing a multi-million-dollar deal and be back on Bay Street. That is so important. And because we've had the faith to continue with this particular entity, which is the Pembroke area, regional airport, I think you'll see it continue to grow. The data work that has been done, certainly. Although, as the mayor, I cannot mandate my people to use the plane, I will certainly be encouraging it. Many of us go to conferences over the period of a year, and again, time is money. We also have to be back in our communities as quickly as possible, and I certainly would encourage all of our employees to be using that wherever possible. We have to look back on some of the people that founded, the airport, Del O'Brien and some of the other partners with Pemair. I had used Pemair a number of years ago when I worked at the television station. It was quick, it was efficient, it was a little noisy. Some days we had some wonderful flights in and out of storms, but they got us here safely and back. But I want to also congratulate those original members of the board. A lot of them that were local people are still living. Cami Bim, I believe, served, a local businessman. He had the vision as well. I mean, he lived in Petawawa, he had a business in Pembroke, but he saw the importance of having a regional airport. And other people are involved that were pilots, Omer Mosio, Tony Guerretto. To all those people who had the faith and the vision, they've built a foundation. We see the airport continue to grow. Congratulations, and we look forward with anticipation to the announcement of a carrier. And I want to congratulate everyone here, Warden and Mr. Chair.
So we're going to bring Alan back up for some questions, and that's media questions, public questions, anybody who has questions. Steve Gilchrist and Natalie Granter. Steve's the airport manager here, Natalie's the assistant to the commission, and Brian over here in the corner has, we gave him a title today of maintenance engineer. He basically does everything. They're going to hand out a little pamphlet that we created that just talks a little bit about the cost of a trip. It's been 10 years since the opportunity to fly out of this airport was available. So this just helps you kind of consider the costs of a trip. So use it for your staff, yourselves, for making travel arrangements, and also for guests that are coming into this area. So Alan, I'll turn it over to you. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to bring them forward.
I guess the one question I think we're all thinking is, you mentioned the future announcement of a possible air carrier. Are we currently in negotiations with a number of parties?
So to date, we've met with one carrier, and we have talked to two others. At this point, they haven't brought it back to their board, so we're going to respect their confidentiality at this point. But yes, the negotiations are ongoing. It's hard to hold everybody back. As soon as the announcement came back that we knew was going to come back positive for the SCED service, everybody wanted to get a hold of airlines like right now. So, yes, it's on its way. Yep.
When there is a scheduled airline to come back to Pembroke, what do you think will be the timeline when an agreement will be reached?
So today we're realistically looking at somewhere between 12 to 18 months. So that could be shorter than that. It's just going to depend on how those negotiations go. It's going to depend on the carrier that we decide is going to be the best for this area, and what airport they're set up at. Do they have hangar facilities, terminal facilities? Okay. So there's a lot to do with that yet. And that's the fun part, to actually get down and negotiate that. So there's a lot of variables in that, but.
Alan, the warden referred to Toronto Centre Airport. Are you negotiating both airports, Pearson as well as Toronto, or Toronto City Centre and the Island Airport? Where's the destination?
So it's going to depend on the carrier where they actually have facilities and where they can actually get in and out. It's not very easy to get into either Pearson or the Island Airport unless you already have a connection there. So it's going to depend on the carrier and what kind of connections they have. And there are lots of small carriers around that do have connections into both airports. So it's not an issue, it's just going to depend on where their connections are.
Aside from the resurfacing of the runway, what are some of the other amenities that would be required or would attract a carrier sooner than later?
So resurfacing the runway wouldn't attract or not attract a carrier. Resurfacing the runway is more for some heavier aircraft, okay, that would be able to land in and out of here. It would be nice if we had instrument landing here, okay. That stuff is expensive. So is that stuff we're looking at down the road? Most definitely. It lowers the ceiling, allows you to get in and out in inclement weather. So. Yes.
Do you anticipate any new employment opportunities
Most definitely. It's also going to depend on what kind of services we can provide to the carrier that's here. The last carrier that was here, it meant about 2 to 3 more employees out of this facility. We did a lot of service for them, and then that's in the beginning, right? It's going to increase from there. Anybody else? Okay, well, thanks very much.
Okay, so for members of the media, if you want to do some further discussions with Alan, I'm going to send you down the hall into the boardroom. I'll send you there too. Yep. And then everyone else, please mingle and chat and enjoy the now sunny day that started off a little gloomier.